This past spring, we offered a 3-part adult education course here at Temple Road of Shalom on the history of Jewish music. Now, I took this course at HUC, as did Rabbi Sachs, also called The History of Jewish Music, and I assure you it was not 3 sessions long. In fact, I don't even know if it could have been measured in years. But this is how our 3-part session went. Cantor Leader taught the period of music between the Bible through the medieval period. I covered the music from the beginning of the Reform movement through to the 1940s, and Cantor Scher covered the period from the 1940s to the present. My section included the music of the golden age of Chazanut. For those of you who don't know, Chazanut is the cantorial music of the Eastern European tradition, which became very popular in America, especially on the Lower East Side of New York City in the early 20th century. In describing the origins of this type of music, we learned that its influences were vast and varied. In fact, we learned that throughout the history and the wandering of the Jewish people, their music was influenced by the times and the culture of the peoples with whom they lived. Despite those influences, the one thing that never changed is the fact that Jewish music has always expressed the yearnings of our people. So tonight, we may break a record. I want you to keep your ears open because I want you to listen. You're going to hear some familiar sounds. But we may break a record as I attempt to share with you an overview of the history of Jewish music in just a few short moments. And so, tonight we're going to go on a musical voyage and explore the music of our synagogue and of our people. There will be music that you will recognize, like this melody for the 4 questions that are sung at the Seder table on the festival of Passover. There will also be many melodies that perhaps you are not acquainted with in the course of this presentation. When it comes to music of the synagogue, there are certain rules which must be followed, and here is an example for you. The scale which I am singing has a special name. It's called the Fragish mode scale, and it is the foundation upon which the Ahava Rabbah mode is based. It's used for Shacharit and Musaf services on Shabbat and at other times as well. This special scale is used in the construction of so many melodies that we know and love, like Yismechu v'Malachutecha and Sim Shalom and V'Tahel Imenu, and we could go on this way for the rest of the night. There are other modes which are used at other times. They are named for the prayers in whose services they're found, like Magen Avot and Adonai Malach, 2 modes which are heard in the Friday evening service. So the melodies which we sing are not randomly chosen. They must fit into the proper mode for that service. There's more than modes that go into our synagogal music. Listen to this melody. Does it sound familiar? If you said it's from the evening services of the High Holy Days, you are right. So in addition to the special modes which are used in certain services, And then there is the issue of how a melody can be plain or fancy. You can take a prayer and chant it very quickly, like so. V'shameru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat, le'dorotam berit olam. Or you can take that prayer and tune, and you can embellish it, like so. V'shameru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat. And that is an example of the art of Chazanut, taking a simple tune and making it very fancy. Do you understand? Now, Chazanut is somewhat like jazz, in that it can be improvised, that is to say, created on the spot. And so the identical prayer may sound very different every time it's chanted. Now, another consideration when chanting, in addition to using the proper scales and motives, what we call nusach, is to sing each word in such a way that its meaning is crystal clear, even to those who don't know Hebrew. And so if I sing Bachatzut Rot V'kol Shofar, it should be clear that I am singing about horns and about trumpets. And if I sing about Hashemayim v'haaretz, you could figure out that I was singing about the heavens and the earth below. And that is how a cantor makes the words of the prayers come to life. Synagogue music is also comprised of the compositions of talented cantors and of gifted composers whose creativity has enriched and beautified our worship together. Names like Yosela Rosenblatt, Mordechai Hirschman, Pinchik and Quartin, Zilbert and Lind, Binder and Zulzer, Naumburg and Weisser, and Adolf Kachko, representing the old school whose music is so beloved. Then there are the writings of modern composers like Max Janowski, whose music we are hearing now, and Gershon Kingsley, and Herbert Fromm, and Ben Steinberg, to name just a few. But there is one composer who's due a special mention because of his special contribution of music that is singable, pleasurable, and memorable, whose use has become universal. I'm speaking of Israel Goldfarb, whose melodies for the Friday evening service are known and loved by all. From Matoru Miknotecha Yisrael, to Magin Avod Bidvaro, and Vayechulu Hashamayim V'Haaretz. And there's also Lechadoni Likrat Kala Penei Shabbat Nekabela, along with Kiddush and Shalom Aleichem. The music of Goldfarb lives again and again. We've learned about the music of prayer, but there's other music that we hear at various times of the year when we read from the holy books, the Torah, the Nevi'im, and the Megillot, and we chant these readings with the help of special markings which appear in printed copies of the text. These marks are called trope marks, and they serve as a kind of musical shorthand. They give us the proper melodies by which to sing the words. Now the trope marks never change. They always look the same in every book of the Bible. But the melodies vary from book to book. And that's a brief description of cantillation. We've only just begun to learn about the music of the synagogue, with all of its nuances, all of its complexities, and all of its beauty. But let's not forget that notwithstanding nusach, scales and modes and trope marks, this music represents, in the truest sense, the heartfelt yearnings of our people. And with that, I say Shabbat Shalom, and you all get an A+.
Should I sing my next instructions or should I speak them? Thank you, Cantor Scher.